This is yoga for expats, and whether you're living abroad for work, as a trailing spouse, by choice or necessity, this yoga program, created with care for beginners as well as long-time practitioners, was designed with your needs in mind. As immigrants, or expats if you prefer, we face culture shock, language barriers, loss of the familiar and trusted support systems, loneliness, worry, loss and grief, identity crisis, relational stress, depression, disorientation, uncertainty over belonging and purpose, alienation, discrimination, dependency, anxiety, and frustration. No wonder we need yoga. Now, this series won't change everything overnight. In fact, it might not change anything at all, except for your ability to cope with the challenges you face and your ability to release the stress so it doesn't accumulate and bring on illness on top of everything else. And that's a fabulous benefit. Included in this series will be 5 yoga sequences targeting the needs of those living in a foreign land. We'll deal with issues such as grounding, flexibility, release, self-care, and acceptance. Today's video is all about grounding. The ground is more than simply what we walk upon. It is our base. It is often the case that when we find ourselves on foreign soil, we get that fish out of water feeling. Our legs wobble when we continually encounter the unfamiliar. It can leave us feeling disconnected, tired, and fearful. Rather than giving in and surrendering to the pull of gravity, we tense our bodies and we pull away, making everything more difficult. Grounding is what reconnects us, feeling our bodies in space and time, rooting ourselves to the earth that we walk upon, and relying on the strength of our roots to give us lift. Let's begin. Let's begin in mountain pose. So stand with your feet about hip width apart. Just begin to rock back and forth on your feet, spreading your toes wide and feeling your connection to the ground as if hugging the earth with your toes. Stay light upon your heels. Bend your knees just slightly to relieve any stress upon the joint. Soften everything that you can soften and rely upon your bones to keep you straight and tall. Allow the legs to grow heavy. As you allow your legs to grow heavier, sinking ever more towards the ground and connecting with the ground, feel everything from the waist up, lengthening and growing upward. Relax the shoulders. Allow the arms to simply float off the collarbones. Create some space in the front of the neck and feel the space behind the neck and head. Breathe and connect to that sense of strength and stability. Breathe fully and completely. Allow your body to adjust in each second. Allow your body to carry you into mountain pose. Your mind, the observer. Feel how the ground rises up to meet your feet. Feel how your head touches the space above it. We'll be moving now into something called Kundalini tree pose. So you're going to cross one leg over the other, kickstanding the foot, finding your balance, allowing your body to shift and sway. When you're feeling confident in the posture, then go ahead and place your hands on your waist. Breathe here, just focusing on the balance and the connection you have through your supporting leg to the ground. Stay light upon the kickstanded foot as you bend at the hips. Bringing your fingertips to the ground to connect in as if they were the roots of your tree. Now you can use a block here if the floor is far away for your hamstrings. If that's uncomfortable, then simply use the block, and that will bring the floor closer to your hands and be much easier on your hamstrings. And of course, you can bend that standing leg. You don't have to keep it straight. Certainly don't lock it. Breathe fully and completely. I can't emphasize that enough. Release through the back. Let everything you've been dealing with pour off both sides of the spine toward the ground. Now slowly roll up the spine. If that's not comfortable, feel free to come up with a flat back. All the way to the top. When you get there, you can uncross your legs, give a shake to each leg, and a shake to your arms. Take a moment to feel the sensations in the body. And get ready for the other side. Remember, you want to feel really connected to the ground through that supporting leg, so make sure you're spreading your toes. Your weight should be slightly more toward the balls of the feet. Hands at your waist when you're ready, and then coming forward. Now, even though there is weight on your fingertips, what you don't want is a lot of weight. And that goes for the kickstanded foot as well. You want to be able to pick up those toes fairly easily. Most of the weight is on that supporting leg. Remember to breathe. Remember to release. Stay aware of the back of the legs and the space behind you. That's part of your support here. And begin to roll up as you're ready. One vertebra at a time. And release the leg, give it a shake. Other side. And both arms. Good, and again, stand here in mountain pose, just sense and feel. Now we're going to tap down the outside of the arm, cupping the hand around the bones, and then up the inside of the arm, and we'll repeat that. Same on the other side. And you can pat just the lower abdomen into the groin area, along the sides of the hips. And it can be nice to use kind of the lower part of your palm and the wrist to tap into the hips. Look for the tender places, the places that need a little jostling. Lower back now, kidneys. And we'll go down each side of the leg. And then back up the leg. Again. And let's do the other leg. This is all about being present fully here and now in our bodies. And then we'll want to get the tops of the feet. As you kind of slap the feet gently, feel the ground and the connection there. And then back up the legs. Back to the groin. Now let's get the sides of the body, so from the underarm down the rib cage to the waist to the hip and then back up. Both sides. Making sure you're breathing. Now bring your hands over your face, over your hairline, down the neck and off the shoulders. Bring everything forward, release that stress and tension. And again, over the face, over the hair, down the neck, around the shoulders. And pause here, again feeling and sensing the body. Now we're going to begin swinging the arms as we take little bends in the knees. Now the thing here is that you want your arms to be heavy and to have a momentum of their own. So breathe fully here. What we're getting in touch with is what's called the heavy body. So you want to feel the legs growing heavier into the ground. Feel that connection that's there. Develop and cultivate that connection. And there's a rhythm here taking place. Now let's go overhead with the arms. It's the same thing. I'm just going a little higher with the arms intentionally. If you'd like to come up onto your toes, if that feels safe for you, you can come up with each inhalation and then come down with the exhalation. And then take it back down again. And slow, but let the arms continue their momentum until they come to a still place. Let's stand with the feet now wider. And we're going to begin a turning motion from side to side, slightly lifting the foot that you're moving away from and allowing the arms to simply swing heavily, landing on the body with each swing, side to side. No stiffness through the arms, no control, let it go. Again, this is about cultivating that sense of heaviness, that sense of grounding and connection. Breathe. So we're going to change the direction the head is looking now and look over the front shoulder as we continue with the same movement of the arms. Slowly let your arms come to a stillness, and then just pause and feel how that movement, that vibration continues throughout your body. Breathe. Just sense. Return to that sense of the mountain, immovable, imperturbable, strong and mighty. Fully inhabit your space. So now we'll be swinging the arms in opposition, front and back. Same little bend in the knees. And again, you want to work on not controlling the arms, but rather letting the movement propel the arms. Letting the arms be heavy and swing of their own accord. Imagine that if someone could come along and maybe try to push you off center, that they wouldn't be able to, that you're that rooted and that grounded. Now begin to swing the arms side to side here. And feel free to get into it. Have fun with this, but stay rooted, stay grounded. And slowly bring the arms back, let them finish with their momentum. Now stand with your feet 2 to 3 feet apart. And you're going to want to bend your knees and make sure that your knees are coming right over your first and second toe. It's important that the knees don't fall in forward. And then when you're ready, you can extend the arms left to right and flex the palms as if you were touching a wall on either side of you. Imagine yourself a strong pillar holding up a building. Breathe fully and deeply. Check that you're not rolling in on your feet. The more you breathe, the easier it will become. The more you connect to those imaginary walls that your hands are touching and the space above you with your head, and of course the ground, the easier this will be to hold. And release. Just walk your feet back together, give another shake. You're going to stand with your feet a little wider this time. And again, find your balance on your feet, light on the heels. Hands on hips and bend forward. Now, if you were using blocks before, you might find them helpful again here as we come down towards the ground. The majority of your weight should be on your feet, not your hands. And work also on finding that space behind you as you reach and open with the backs of the legs into space. Allowing the spine to be long from the tailbone all the way to the top of the head, letting the head float on the spine. Breathe. A little micro bend in the knees is essential here. We don't want to lock anything. And it's fine to bend the knees deeply if that's what you need to do for comfort. We're going to place one hand now right under the heart. And with the other arm, we're going to reach with the elbow towards the ceiling and just open up through the waist and chest. Looking in that direction with the head. Just breathe. You can open that arm as long as you're not torquing your shoulder to get the arm open. Let's go to the other side. So placing the other hand under the heart, elbow to ceiling, turning at the waist and the chest, opening up to that side, breathing. And if you would like, you can open that arm back to center now, taking a moment maybe to go deeper right before you roll up through the spine. And walking the legs back together. So we'll stand in mountain pose again here. Sensing all of the shifting energies in the body as a result of everything that we've done up to this point. And really connect in now to your presence, your sense of being here now. Feel connected to your own presence, your I am. Now, this is a tricky one. It's a little bit of a fall. It's as if your legs are getting kicked out from under you and you just fall heavy towards the ground and then roll up. Give it a try. I only do this about 3 times, I think. And then walking the feet back. So I'm going to do a forward fold now down to the mat. We're going to come into a child's pose, so feel free to do that in any way that you would like. I'm just going to give you some moments in child's pose before we move on to the second part of our sequence, which is going to be floor-based. Breathing in down both sides of the spine towards the tailbone. Exhaling through the center of the spine over the head. So we're going to come now onto our backs, and the video is going to change a bit here so that you get a different view. And here we are on our backs. Go ahead and bend your knees, constructive rest. I have my arms out to the side, but you can always place them on your belly or closer to the body. If you feel as though you have to work to keep the knees upright, then you might want to separate your feet a little wider, perhaps turn your heels out, and then let your knees drop in together so that you don't have to work so hard. Otherwise, see if you can rely on the bones of your legs as support. Breathe here and allow, with each exhalation, allow your belly to empty towards the ground. This is really introspective, quiet time for you and your body. Give it the time that it needs and wants and longs for to release. Really feel the points of contact along the back body, the feet, the pelvic bowl, the lower back, space between the lower ribs and shoulders, the head, portions of the arms. Now you don't have to press your lower back into the ground here, so don't worry about that. Just work on softening in towards the ground and breathing through all spaces of the lungs. Now, if you can, I'd like you to start tipping your pelvis towards your feet as you inhale. And then as you exhale, come the other way and tip the pelvis towards the head. So it's a very gentle, slow movement. So we're arching the back as we tip the pelvis towards the feet, and then flattening the back towards the ground as we tip the pelvis upward toward the head. Everything stays on the ground. You're not picking anything up here. Stay nice and heavy. And feel how the whole spine moves with this tipping from the tailbone all the way through the top of the head. Let your body respond with yawns, with sighs, with mms and ahs and oohs. Anything that arises is to be welcomed and permitted. We're beginning to work very deeply now with our parasympathetic nervous system. We're calming everything down. And so if it responds in that way with a yawn or a sigh, that's a good sign. Now, if you would like, you can allow your knees to start falling off to one side of the body, rolling through the surface of the feet. They don't have to reach the ground. Just get a sense of what's happening through the trunk and the opposite side body. And then coming back up to center as you roll through slowly to the opposite side. And going back and forth in this manner at your own pace. Take your time. There are certain things that I just can't emphasize enough, and one of those, as I've already mentioned, is breath, to make sure that you're breathing. And the other is to slow down. Go ahead and extend the legs here. And what we're going to be doing is rocking through from the weight of the heels, really, rocking the whole body from foot to head. Now, this is tricky if you've never done it before, and I'm going to show you here. It's not this. It's not flexing and then pointing, okay? And it's not you doing it. It's like the momentum that we had when we were swinging the arms. It's the same sort of thing here. Let the feet just go back and forth and create this jiggle of motion through the body from head to toe. It's not just the legs. If you take a moment to look at my body here, you can see that the whole body is moving from head to toe. Just do your best with this. The more you let go of ancient tension and holdings, the easier this will be. And I know it can be really exhausting. Take a break if you need to, and then come back and try again. Let's rest for a moment now. Just be still and feel the reverberation again through the body. When we move the body in this way, we can benefit all parts through the vibration that we are creating. Speaking of vibration, here we go. We're going to shake one limb. So go ahead and put your foot up. Doesn't have to be straight, doesn't have to be up high. Now, this too, if you notice, it's an uncontrolled jiggling. So let go of the foot. Let go from the hips, from the hip socket of that leg. And let it all just jiggle, shake, and roll. Jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. This also takes effort, but it's not mental effort and it's not muscular control in the way that we would normally think. You have to be able to let go in order to release like this. So just jiggle. Be jello. And relax that leg. Whew, feel the sensation, the energy that it creates. It's really lovely. Let's do the other leg now. I notice too, it's something to be aware of, the fact that even though we're just shifting that leg, that the whole body is, to some extent, shaking and moving with the leg. So let that happen. Don't be rigid. Be connected, head to foot. Shake, 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 shake it out. Shake out tension. Shake out frustration. Good, and relax, and again feel now the sensation through both legs compared to the arms. Which, of course, we're going to do next. So taking one arm up to the sky, and begin to shake, shake, shake. The more floppy you can be, the better. Let the weight of the arm be a support for the shaking. We hold so much in our hands. We hold on to things we don't want to let go of. We grip, we grasp, we pull. Let all of that go now. And you can play around with your shoulder being connected to the ground or pulling away from the ground and see, what feels more supportive, what feels better. Good, relax. Feeling those 3 shaken limbs. and that one remaining limb. Let's bring that one up now and give it the same treatment. So shaking, jostling, jiggling. Breathing. It was almost a sensation of the arm being weightless at the same time as it is heavy. Can you grasp those two opposing sensations? Nicely done. Relax. Again, feel into now all four limbs. Again, allowing any responses that naturally arise. Giving yourself time to really sense and to release. We are now going to shake all four limbs at the same time. So bringing the arms and legs up. Jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. Floppy, floppy, floppy. You really have to ground here through the core, through the back body, staying really connected to the ground, empty through the belly. Don't give up. The longer you can go for, the more you will experience strong sensations when you stop. The more release you'll feel and reward you'll get. Good. Stretch out. Legs to the corners of the mat, arms to the upper corners. Nice big starfish kind of pose. Feels so good. Full breaths. Aware of the body and its imprint upon the ground. Aware of gravity and how it's holding you. Now, if you'd like, you can take a couple of wider stretches here, so kind of pressing away from the body into all four directions with each limb a few times, and then just letting everything come back towards the mid-line. Or just rest open and just feel as you breathe and empty the belly with each exhalation how relaxing this can be for the body. Another stretch. And then back in towards the center, release. Another yawn from me. Okay, now bring everything in, legs, arms. We are now going to enter Shavasana. Enjoy it. I'll see you on the other side. So now it's gently time to come back. So what I like to do is kind of press in different parts of my body into the ground. Maybe the heels, perhaps the back of the arms or the head. And then I like to bring my knees into my chest and kind of rock back and forth in gentle motions. Whatever you feel like you'd like to do just to bring yourself back. And then when you're ready, just turn to one side. Curl up in a fetal position. When you're ready, you can push yourself up with your top arm, coming to a sitting position. Rest here with your hands on your knees. Breathe. And to end today, I would like to share with you a poem by Rupi Kaur. It was when I stopped searching for home within others and lifted the foundations of home within myself. I found there were no roots more intimate than those between a mind and body that have decided to be whole. Now let's bring the hands together and rub them, creating some heat between them. And then we'll bring them into prayer pose or Anjali Mudra at the chest. Namaste. And take a deep breath here and release. And if you'd like to tone with me, feel free. Let's start with a deep breath. Release the breath. And again, breathe in to tone. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om